or an engineer. I could be your mother. Ooh, I can be your sister. Can be a nurse or a judge in the court. I could be a leader, ruling over a nation, all over the world. I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. I'm intelligent and wise. A beautiful woman. I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. Magnificent. Today's woman. The spirit of women is calling, and the voice of unity must answer. Today's woman. Today's woman.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, good evening. Hello, it's a new day, new time. It's Thursday evening. We're back here. Both Mrs. Cully and Coach Q will be here soon to have this conversation with you. It's good to be here to have a conversation with you. We have a few highlights tonight. We were supposed to be on in Liberia, but the electricity is off. So just the name of the beast. This is not anything new. I know you all know that. We're working on trying to get what do you call it? Get the solar panel to that place so we're able to be on whenever we come on, whether electricity is there or not. In 2025, we're talking electricity, no electricity. So it is. We rather use the money to go pay people to vote, or keep the people hostage instead of empowering the people, okay, from bottom up. Instead of giving our people an opportunity, tonight, I'm going to be talking about a few things. But to start off with, okay, let me let all of you know, I am a Nimbadian. But most of all, I am a Liberian first. And because I am, the interest of Liberia is my ultimate goal and lookout. Okay? So tonight we're going to be talking about, there go Coach Q. We are going to be talking about tribalism versus nationhood. Why our country is where she is today, and why it continues to be where Liberia is. And so long we continue on this path, how we're going to continue to be this way, that even this generation in waiting is not going to do anything, okay? So let me bring Coach Q on, all right? But thank you, those of you who are already here. Please go ahead and share. We appreciate that you're here, okay? Again, Peter, hi, how are you? We missed you last week.
Yeah, hi. I had some things to take care of, but I'm back and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Right, I do too. I was just letting everybody know we were trying something out in Liberia, but by the time we get home and get here, it's after 12 o'clock because of the time difference. We're working on, in fact, the radio station. Last week we used it, but today it's not down. They say no electricity because I think there's something going on. Every now and then they will say the transformer blew up so the people in the community can pay. I mean, when fish dry, dog eat dog, what do you call it? Fish eat fish, right? This is where we are. A review of Liberia. Paul, you can join us. We would love to have you. You told me the last time you were going to be coming on, but you don't. But anyway, we're here. Yaman was going to be here. So today we're going to be talking about tribalism versus nationhood. Can democracy thrive? Peter?
Yeah, no. Nation building has to be about nationalism. Nation building has to be about democracy. Democracy is about the greater good of everyone. So it is not about one individual getting what they want, and at least I have what I want. And what happens with tribalism too is too narrow. It only caters to one group of people, and making decisions like that does not help a nation. Does not build a nation. As a matter of fact, you're going to be subservient to a lot of more organized and united places. Um, when you look at history and look at the names of places, you will understand the importance of people and unity. You will understand why Russia became the USSR. It was a unity of I think Soviet socialist states.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One China. It
Mm-hmm.
was all about the Chinese being one, the United States,
Mm-hmm.
the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, it, it goes on and on. United um, Emirates, Emirates, or however they're called. The point
Mm-hmm.
I'm making is unity matters, and the greater good matters. The more you have ideas, the more you cater to the greater good, the better it is as an environment for everybody. When you just focus on yourself, you aren't doing that. You're doing the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. And we do way too much of that in Liberia, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. Let me close on this. Democracy is only good when people aren't desperate. The reason why that is important is outside of desperation, you're making decisions that, well, within desperation, you're making decisions that assuage whatever you're going through at the time. You want to eliminate some pain. You want to get away from something now. When people basic needs aren't being met, they can't have democracy. Humans, humans, innate nature is to run away from pain towards pleasure. So whatever we need to do to not feel hurt, we're going to do. This is why the tribalists flourish in Liberia. And the sad thing is, a lot of them don't understand that what we're going through in Liberia is not unique to us. In Liberia, plenty of other places went through it, and they will all often tell you, "Oh, Liberia politics is different." Mostly, when you hear people talk like that, they couldn't tell you about any other place politics. They're just not informed, right? They just don't know enough to make that determination or to make that assertion. But yet, and still, they still do. Liberia politics is no different than any other emerging democracy across the world if you have studied it. And these are the same people who will get offended when you tell them what you're saying isn't true. You haven't studied this. And now you become the pariah. You become the enemy because, oh, you
Yeah.
think you
They,
know
they,
more.
they they tell you you think you know more or
Yeah.
you think you're better because
And
you are more informed
yeah,
than
and
what you
and the
think
thing
you
is,
are.
it's not about. Yes, I know a little bit more because I cared about the subject, so I went and studied it. I don't think anyone should be commenting on anything they haven't studied. I don't. When it comes to medical things in medicine, I don't say much. I don't know much about that. When it comes to government, I do. So it's not that I like bantering and debating. I don't actually. And anyone who knows me personally knows that I don't even like talking. I don't like the sound of my own voice. I do it because I say things when I feel like it needs to be said. So yeah, democracy has four pillars, and what is in common, what all those pillars have in common, is that you can't have desperate people making decisions because they're going to make decisions that benefits them, not the greater good. If you have people making decisions that benefits them and not for the greater good of the community or the country and the nation state, you don't have a democracy and you're not going to flourish and you're going to be taken advantage of by the rest of the world.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. Sister Jamal, we're waiting for you to come on. guys, those of you who have already logged in, thank you. I see more of you. And the funny thing is, less people come, but when we leave, we come back. A thousand more have come and watched. We want you to be a part of the conversation because we want you to have an opportunity to call us. We want to see in real time when you're typing, what you're thinking, because this conversation is two-sided. It's not one way. We want to hear from you. We want you to educate us as we also educate, because all of us are learning. Learning is a continuous process. It's not a one-stop shop. Okay, that's what we're talking about. And we're going to come back to the different pillars of democracy. Okay, and why those are important. Now, Peter, let me first start by saying, it really, really saddened me as a child of Nimba, a daughter of Liberia, a woman of Liberia, a mother of Liberia, a sister of Liberia, okay, that today insulting our mothers, insulting our sisters, insulting our auntie, our grandmother, the place that you pass, okay? The female anatomy have been what to use to intimidate women or to name and shame. Without the part that you're calling, you will not be alive. Hey, love, you will not be alive today, okay? But I watched, and I'm going to come, Peter touched a good topic when he said democracy does not flourish with desperate people. Now, I was listening to this psychology yesterday, and I started doing, if you went to business school, if you went to regular college, okay, Psych 101, very, very, very simple, okay? Beslow, hierarchy of needs. Where do we start from? And I listened to this guy, and it just brought me home to my first year in college. And yeah, what it states, that is correct. It said when people are giving less and treated poorly, yet still responds with grace or silence, it's often not because they are content. It's because they are surviving. In survival mode, people trade their voices for safety, at least they think, their self-worth for stability, at least they think, and their truth for peace. It is not weakness, it is instant, because you are in survival mode, just like Peter said earlier. But no soul shall have to live in a world where survival replaces dignity, or where enduring mistreatment becomes the price for belonging. Okay, that is fact. This is where our people are at this point. Sestima, where are you? Okay, Peter, I'm gonna wait till you. When you come back, I'm gonna bring you. This is where Liberia is. I see these women. How do you watch our mothers? Somebody telling me about tradition. How do you watch our mothers? And you are using your man this in the present, and your children, your sons are repeating after in the presence of their mother. When I was growing up in my little village, if you see elders, women, and you use profanity, your family will be fine. They will get a fine to the point that you have to clothe the elders, because that insult will go directly to the elders. That is what you call. So apparently now our tradition is we have no respect. Okay, but okay, Peter is back. All right, and there are a few videos here that I would like to share. All right, and it's what is happening in Nimba. Your backstage. I don't see. Okay, hold on. Let me see this. Oh, there she is. Okay. Paul, I see you. I and Yama is coming on. Peter, I want you to come back, but I want to show you this video. Okay. And that's a video here that I'm going to do. I'm actually intentionally going to do it last. Okay, I'm not going to play this video, but I want you to see it, and I will speak to it. Okay, I just want you to see it because I'm not going to play. I'm not going to give it credence. Okay, I'm not going to disrespect myself. I'm not going to disrespect my family. I'm not going to disrespect my sisters or anybody for that matter. Says Yama, you're here. Give me 1 second. Here it is.
I'm here. I'm here.
Good. This is the video right here. This is this man. Now, okay. Okay. This dude right here, and he can cost me because what he used to doing, that what Jeremiah Kun and Koga didn't pay him to do. This is how Jeremiah Kun is going to lead. And let me speak to y'all, my sisters there, or whoever you are on Facebook. It is disrespectful to me, okay? To me, I'm saying to me, I'm not talking to you. To put a man who think I'm not worth speaking, that my voice is not important, that I'm not intelligent enough to lead, although I'm more educated than him, although I'm more qualified than him, although I'm more experienced than him, although I have a career that has lived in a competitive world, but because of my gender, he believed, okay, I should be subservient to him, okay? Don't put her picture under my post. Now, this is Prophet Key insulting Liberian women after he got through insulting Madingo people. Okay? Madingo people. I think we started this conversation with tribalism was the nationhood. And I'm going to come back to Peter. I just wanted to show this, but I will come for Prophet Key another day. Liberian people love the way he insults because that's how they insult their own parents. But where we come from, okay?
Just actually, Paul wants the request. I'm going to send it to him.
Okay, yeah, you can send it to him. That's fine. Peter, let me come to you and we'll come back to Sis Nyama. So we're talking about tribalism, for me, how it continued to destroy Liberia. And I will speak to this part. It was tribalism that brought the war. You didn't see your neighbor as your brother. You see them, either they were Bassa, they were Grebo, they were Kran, they were Mana, they were Madingo, they were Kru, they were Loma, and we murder one another. Like I was old enough. I still remember when we have to leave our house. I still remember, and many of us remember, and some of us continue to speak up because that's not the route we want to follow. But Peter, I'm gonna let you come in. Then we're gonna wait. I'm gonna get a little bit later. Then I'm gonna come into the part of democracy. I'm gonna let you go ahead, set the tune. But I wanted to bring this to bear so people can hear, and then get to the people who are going to the poll to vote. If you are in Liberia, you must add your voice. Go ahead, Peter. Then we'll go to Sejama.
Yeah, there's so much I can say about what Prophet Key is doing, but so there are a lot of layers to what's going on, and I want to address all of it.
That's fine.
One thing that you're gonna find out about me is I am not shy about pointing out the elephant in the room. If there's anything that brings out passion in me, it's truth. And when we skirt the truth, or when we simply just lie about things, or just absolutely twist facts, that's a problem. First thing first, I understand why Koger and Jeremiah Kuhn supports Prophet Key, 100%. And because you don't win elections without passion, regardless how the passion is coming from, you don't win elections. You win elections in one of two ways. You energize your base and you bring in new members. That's it. Part of the reason why, hopefully I will say this in my closing, I'm no longer associated with any political party, especially ANC. Why I also believe that Cummings is not the person to lead Liberia, but I'll go into details with that. I think he's probably one of the worst ones. You don't win elections without passion. And you've never seen me on a one person live, but I would do that just to expose him and the type of people he has around him. There's a reason why those people are not disassociating themselves from Prophet Key. Because when Prophet Key, although he's using words that is absolutely horrid, he he engenders support from a base of people that resonates with. That's number one. Okay, he speaks with passion, right, wrong, or indifferent. He speaks with passion, just like
No,
people.
he speak with deception, and because it's pay for play for him.
Stupidity.
But go
Well,
ahead, sorry.
we
Let me
can,
put myself on mute because I
yeah,
need
we
to.
can
I
we
will come
can
back.
agree
Let me
to,
put myself on mute. Go ahead, Peter. Let me put
yeah,
myself on mute so I don't say something.
we can agree to disagree on that. He speaks with passion, just like Donald Trump speaks nationalistic language, just like Adolf Hitler spoke nationalistic language. I'm pretty sure history is not going to judge those two people as the people you want to raise your boys to be, but he speaks with what fires up passion. So that's number one. Um, Loyalty to those type of people matters to political campaigns. So when Coker comes out and says, "Oh, we repudiate or we walk away from what Prophet Key said about the Mandingo people," which segments me into my next point. Um, Nimba is all about tribalism. It's Liberia. Um, if it, and you said the war was fought because of tribalism, I think it was fought because of jealousy. I think that because if you say, "Oh well," the reason why they're playing coups in Nimba and went to Grand Jita and tried to kill Doe there the first time and the second time from Nimba was because he killed those men on the pole. I can grant that. I can concede that. Why'd you kill the Mandingo people? Answer that part. They didn't kill no one on the pole. I think that just like again, what's happening in Liberia is not unique to Liberia. Why was Adolf Hitler able to get neighbors to point out neighbors? A Jewish person lives there. That store is owned by a Jewish person. Christonovs was called the Knight of Glass in Germany. Here's what happened in Poland. A bunch of Jewish people went out. A bunch of non-Jewish people went out and destroyed the properties and homes of Jewish people. Well, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Well, tribalism, a dogma of tribalism. For them was racialism, right? So the same thing is happening in Liberia. It's no different. It's dogma. It's those people over there living better than you are, and the reason you're not living better is because of them. And then people hold on to that. Okay, so first thing I said was Prophet Key speaks with passion. Whether he's being facetious or not, it doesn't matter. When he speaks with passion. Here's why I mentioned that. His people, the people who knows and understands how politics work, they don't distance themselves from him. They don't sit there and act like they're better than people like Cummings would do, or the people around him, like the Mariahs and the Ties of the world. I don't know how the hell they think they're better than anyone, but they act like it. When I was in Liberia, they did that over and over and over again. Lopo, turn that down, okay, buddy? Turn that down. And you can sit right next to me. They speak with those people do that. They have this air about them that is not earned. That is not earned, and it absolutely disgusts a person like me. And I'm not. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. I'm going to go very deep into it. So when Prophet Key speaks with passion, it resonates with people. They understand that and they hold on to that. The same reason why a lot of people don't understand why CDCNs loves George Weah. George Weah is not who should be leading the country. They don't get why people are attached to him. And until Cummings understands why they're attached to him, it's not about Weah. It's about movements, about people's mindset. Okay, certain type of people you have to be around, and certain things that has to happen. So Prophet Key speaks with passion. Number two, Nimba is a tribalistic place. So is all of Liberia. Tribalist, very tribal. It's all about me. And this is part of the reason why we aren't growing and aren't going anywhere. Okay. The third thing that Prophet Key does that they care about, and you talk about the swearing part. Okay. And he does swear all the time. Jose Yuma Boycott was in the background calling Key up and saying, "Thanks for what you're doing." Okay. Thanks for what you're doing. Niba County also celebrated, not just Niba, all of Liberia celebrated the death of a warlord. And we worry about the guy cussing. I'm not so much worried about the guy cussing. I worry about the fact that our kids not in school. Our babies are getting raped. We don't have a future. We're selling our gold. All the nationalistic things. The byproduct of tribalism. Me first, my own. I don't see the world past me. If you look at segmented continent, when I say segmented, all these nation states, South America, Africa, Europe is Europe, right? They industrial, they industrialized. Those are the poorest places in the world for a reason. Whenever you splinter yourself, you lose. So within a little country, that meritocracy is not how they select elections, select leaders. Tribalism takes place. So Key can say whatever the hell he wants, Yasendi, and the people will not push away from him because what he's saying resonates with a group of people. And I'm saying when we can't repudiate the celebration of the life of a mass murderer who smacks, killed, just memed a bunch of people when he's being celebrated. I don't remember anybody, whether it's from Nimba, whatever, that came out and said this man's despicable on that day. Everybody was silent. Well, when you're silent about that, be silent about Prophet Key cussing. Because what that man did was he took lives, he tortured people, and people celebrated that. Let's
Okay,
talk about the
Peter,
elephant.
Peter, who you
Let
talk?
me
Let me
land
go
here.
to.
Let me land.
Okay, yeah, let's do like 3 minutes at a time so we all can go
Okay.
around. So okay. So Yama, go ahead. What she taught?
No, he can finish. He finish. No, okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Yasini and Coach. Coach is on the road today, huh? Sorry, I
That's
can put my
okay.
face under that. Good evening. I bring you greetings from Pataskala, Ohio, suburban Columbus, Ohio. Um, Liberia is interesting, right? This whole week, this few weeks, Nimba, and we're talking about tribalism. Um, that's a serious issue in our country. We have at least how many? 16 tribes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and majority of our tribes are deep rooted in certain pathology.
Why we don't see your fine face? Says Yama, what can I see you doing so?
Because my face is not presentable, and I'm actually taking my hair down.
Oh my God. Okay,
I
go ahead.
know, I'm sorry. I have to take my hair down for my Easter
That's
hair this weekend. um,
okay. That's all right. Go
we are
ahead.
deep rooted in starting in our
Go ahead.
pathology, in our refusal to involve. That's what it is. Nigeria have over 200 tribes, and and
Yeah.
and, and they're still able to come together and do what's best for their own nation. So, but small country Liberia, we refuse to rise above our own comfort. Some people say it is jealousy, have you what may. I think it's just laziness. We are so lazy to be uncomfortable. I think
Sorry.
it's a deep rooted issue of laziness. Um, we are so lazy to do the work. Like he was saying, we're so comfortable in our own destitute as a nation that we want somebody to be basically a comedian and to be an actor in front of us, or to be some caricature of ourselves to awaken us. No, people don't have to come and be all what you call it, so not analytical. What the word I'm looking for? So like an actor, you be like what we like probably say Action Jackson. I shouldn't have to perform for you. Peter is saying passion. I shouldn't have to perform for you to tell you that I'm willing to serve you. So if we're looking for performance, and because we are lazy to do our own research, we are lazy, we're looking for excitement because we are so comfortable in our destitute, we are so depressed, we are so hungry, we are poor, we've been marginalized, we've been disenfranchised to a point that we want people to come and excite us out of to wake us up instead of us finding that strength to use our brain and willing to be uncomfortable for our kids, for the next generation. Then woe unto us. And somebody going to take that time to go serve you, but you want them to be an actor or actress in front of you, lie to you, give you what little they have just for you to feel good. You want to feel good, go grab a bottle of beer. Go smoke some weed. Liberia got good weed. It ain't laced or nothing. If you want to feel good, don't look for feeling good as a man of your household in other men lying to you and you sitting there, other men uh, uh, um, abusing other tribes and cursing women just for you to feel good about yourself. So I blame the people. And, the resolve is in the people. And the people are too lazy to stand up for themselves and ask the hard questions in front of these actors and actresses' face, then they can get what they get. If they want perfect key, they get perfect key. I mean, their kids will judge them later. Um, when that Sanko got done, that you're going to sit there and listen to nonsense. The Mandingos are part of the 16 tribes of Liberia, whether you like it or not. Who are you to in this day and age after we've had you know what, it's just, yes, it's so disheartening. Like, we refuse to learn, we refuse to grow after having all those people die in the Civil War, and we're sitting down and hearing this nonsense for a bunch of buffoon that just motivated by it's just money and greed. And we have no problem doing the same thing that caused us to go to civil war. It's like we haven't learned anything, and these people are vying for the highest office, for the first branch of government. Can you imagine?
Thank you, Sister Yama. Thank you. And thank you for those of you who are watching. Thank you. Like I said, we're interacting. That's what we want for you to be live, to be a part of the conversation. Whatever your thoughts are, please write them, or we're gonna have a moment where you can call in and give your input. My dear brother Mensu, I'm sending you an invitation next week. Come and be a part of the conversation. Let me come back here. The mirror has two faces. Okay, the mirror has two faces, and this is my, and we're gonna come back again to a nationhood and the tribalism part where we stand. And I would say the mirror have two faces. First, let me start by saying I condemn, okay, that the vice president of the republic. I'm not even talking about the guy we're talking about. It's not even important. Okay. I sent it to him. I'm not talking about him. Okay. This is a guy that we literally, of 2019, he have his own place to live. Okay. We raise money to gain your place to sleep. All right. I'm not going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about that survivorship. He's in a survival mode. Whatever he needs to do to stay afloat and survive, that's what he's going to do. For me, that's what he's doing. But when you have a sitting vice president in a nation, okay, in a nation, sanctioning that, because he sanctioned it, and a city representative who sanctioned that, okay, those are the people I would talk to. And I think shame on them. But I'm going to come back to the jealousy part, or where the war started. Okay, the mirror have two faces, and you can talk from your perspective. I was alive, I was well, and I remember when we have to leave our house. All right, the first group that attempted another coup, and we just saw that in Burkina Faso. The gentleman in Burkina Faso, who is there now, was not the first who overthrew the first government, they whether elected or not, I was there. There was a guy who overthrew that government. Traoré and think he was not strong enough because of the insurgent. and he took it over, and he's doing the best he can do with his country. On the other hand, from the onset of the PRC government, it was chaotic. The first attempt came from Grand Gita, in fact, the southeast. Okay, you had the Thomas Winston, because during the coup, we learned that Thomas Winston said that those should not be the leader. Okay, because whatever his reason was, and they had some issue. They said Thomas Winston and 5 other people, and Nelson Toll, which is from Totown, the youngest of them all. I think Nelson Toll was 21. Every time I speak on that because I still remember he was 21 years old. That were the first people to go, and there were other happening. There were MMZ Flanzameton, okay, that also they say attempted to. There were nuclear podia, all right. The list goes on before we even got to the Nima County. Now, folks need to understand. I can find the picture here with Joe's daughter because she and I were on the show from 2011 all the way up to either 2014, 2015, or just before the Ebola. Going around to making sure Grangita and the bodies come together based on my particular background. Now, that is a story for another day, but we're going to focus. I don't think it was. I think for me, I speak for what I know. When Prince Johnson died, those who know me know have been advocating for War and Economic Crimes Court forever. And that's where I am, okay? But a lot of people made it seem like this War and Economic Crimes Court were about Prince Johnson. We don't hear them anymore. The War and Economic Crimes Court were more than about Prince Johnson and everybody else that were involved. They said they came for Doe. Doe was killed in 1990. The man left, he was not there. The war continued for 14 years. The very people that murder our people, they are in power and using our power and taking everything from them. But the story goes this way. You got a sitting lawmaker who is telling me as a woman, as a leader, in my own community, in my own right, as an informed citizen, that I'm incapable of learning or leading. Although we have a woman president in that country. When other people are sending their daughters to the moon, when other people are putting their daughters in stands,
can you imagine?
Other people are,
I said, can you imagine? Go ahead. I'm agreeing with you.
So I'm going to stop it. I don't want to talk too long, and I'm going to have Peter come in. This is where for me, I want to take this conversation, because when Prince Johnson died, there were a lot of people who posted. In fact, the whole Facebook were placard. People were rejoicing. One group were rejoicing. One group was sad because that's how they saw him. I said, I know my encounter, and I spoke to that, and I'm going to leave it as that, okay? I'm not going to pee on his grave. He dead. But I have advocated since 1990, since before I even left Liberia, to make sure that we got justice. So I don't particularly need to come and say, if I say so, I know who killed my grandparents. I know their names. I know who castrated my uncle. We also know innocent people in one night were killed at Lutri compound, 600 of them. So this mirror have two faces, and it's good. We need to have this conversation, and we need to we need to create a table where it's not in passing that we need to have that conversation. But there are other things that, we come and learn. Let me get with Peter. I think I'm talking enough already. Peter, let's go. Let's bring things to bear. Why about this election? Why Liberia is stuck where Liberia is? How do we move from where we are? We can go back. Yes, let's educate. Let's open the can and see where we've traveled. How can we fix this? How other nations have done it? That's what we need to do. Peter.
Yeah, well, I think
I'm going to put myself on mute.
Yeah, I think you need to start with truth telling. Part of the reason why, if people have versions of whatever, this is why you have courts. Part of the reason why the war crimes court is important. But there's a reason why it's not happening. As you listen to Kor speak during the mass murderers, the coward's death, his funeral, you know why it didn't happen, because one county holds the nation hostage because of their numbers. That's a fact. Just a couple of days ago or yesterday, Jeremiah Coon said Niba County was the electoral college of Liberia. I don't think people understand how profound that statement is. First of all, again, this was a lawmaker. This was a senator. To be a senator and be that uninformed about what electoral college does tells you how rotted the problem is in Liberia. No, the electoral college is not. Nearby is not the electoral college of Liberia. You could say because of the numbers, they're the swing voters. Because whatever they vote with, that person wins. Electoral college is based on merit. It's based on what people say in the democratic process, not because you jumped over a dead body. So you're next. And then you promise anyone that nearby supports wins. That's the issue. So tribalism is going nowhere. One group of people has held the country hostage. I didn't say this. I would send you the video of Koger saying it. Touch one, touch all. And when you bring, and he said, I repeated this to Prince Johnson over and over again. He did. He said, I repeat it. They're not going to touch you. They're not bringing the war crimes court. That's why it hasn't happened. He said those words. Because if you do, you will lose our vote. The same reason why mega people and the rest of the Republicans have to fall in line with Donald Trump. He has a base. He has a swing vote. He has 33%. We would take that 33% someone else and we will primary you. Let's just speak the truth. That's why it hasn't happened. So tribalism is not a good thing for any place. Just as especially the place that needs numbers and it needs unity. No dogma is good for any place. That is making wild claims and assertion without any evidence or scientific or verifiable evidence. So what is happening in our country, and you ask how do we fix it? I think this needs to be fixed from within. I think anyone outside of and mind you, this is not just a Nimba thing. You can't say, well, we have to MDR and you said something against the Mandingo people. Then why is there even an MDR? Why is the tribal name in the party? So what I'm saying is this is an issue. Maybe I'm mistaken about the MDR part, but there's a Mandingo coalition that is labeled as that in our country. So when you're doing that, that's tribalism. When you call LP the Bassa Party, that's tribalism. Until we are willing, the people within those groups are willing to face the facts and eradicate tribalistic thinking and fervor, nothing's going to change. Let's talk about merit. We need a country based on meritocracy. This is how the world moves forward. You put the cream rise to the top, the best foot forward. And you don't get that when you have a man saying, lead it alone and we'll make you a representative next time. Not because this person serves any better position for our country. Mind you, this is a senatorial position. These are the policy makers of the country. This is supposed to be the body of elders that make great decisions. Let's be honest. Tell me the last bill that was argued and debated that served the Liberian people. Tell me the bill from the Senate. So when you ask how do we fix it, we first have to decide the type of country we want to be. What do we believe we can possibly be? Should we guarantee health care for our people where they can go to hospital and it's free? Well, We can do that if we just stop paying exorbitant salaries and benefits to the oligarchs in Liberia, the tribalist oligarchs, the primitive tribalist oligarchs with nothing to compete about. Put them on a stage with their peers. Let's talk about policies. You need a nationalist leader. Nationalist leader are passionate leader. Passionate leader, these people are advocates. They're activists. We need an activist leader. Activists don't stop talking. We don't have that right now. Who's an activist? We need a nationalist and an activist leader who's going to call out these things. I keep bringing out the fact that we need to amend our Constitution. The reason why America is great, the reason why America has gotten to where it is, because it had the ability to renew, to problem solve, and do over or change and amend themselves. I don't remember the last time we had a constitutional amendment. Since we copy it from the United States, and in 1986, people did things to benefit the oligarch. We need to have hard, real conversations and be honest about it. Name the activist leader. When I say activism, yes, Andy, this is someone who speaks on nationalistic prowesses. Guys, no matter how much you dislike Donald Trump, 77 million people voted for him for a reason. We can't just attribute that to just racism, because I know plenty of Liberians that voted for him. And plenty of Spanish people, immigrants that voted for him. So the question is why? Well, he spoke the language of nationalism, and he was an activist about it. Am I saying he's right? No. He's literally saying deport these people from our country. They're taking away from our people's jobs. He might not be right. I don't think he's right. As a matter of fact, we need those people. He's realizing that now. But when you speak especially when you're in a cynical country like people think America is very educated, they're not. There are a lot of the swing vote that he has at 33%. Those are the least educated people there is. So what I'm saying is we need a type of leader that speak with passion. This is where I was going with the Prophet Key thing. And you have to be an activist and you have to be a nationalist. We need the people within those tribal groups to speak out and speak and dismantle tribalism before we can move forward, before we can be a nation state. Until that happens, we don't have a democracy. Besides the fact that we're missing 4 of the 5 pillars, you don't have a democracy if people are only worried about serving themselves for whatever reason. It could be because their basic needs aren't met, but it's never going to be met unless we work together. So I'm asking, well, what I'm saying is we have to dismantle from within, because no one from outside will dismantle for you. And we need an activist, passionate nationalist leader with a vision.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. So if you ask me, we don't have enough of the pillars in place. Justice does not work for everyone in Liberia, so there's no justice. There's no freedom for anything. There's no representation. Yeah, people are elected in the name of representation. They do not represent the people. They represent themselves. They make law for themselves. They empower themselves. There's no equity, because if I'm left-handed and you give me a right-handed seat or desk, I cannot function to my full potential. So there's no equity. Okay, so there's no that you call it an oligarch. So we literally have a dictatorship, so to speak. But let me come here, Peter. And I'm gonna back up on this. It behooves all of us. Okay, again, it behooves all of us who believe that we know a little better, who have traveled, who have learned and continue to learn, because learning is a continuing process. To continue to speak to our people, to talk with our people. And sometimes It may not be tribal. It may be survivorship. I live in Georgia, where the white people thought after the Civil War that when black people were coming and competing for jobs and there were not enough jobs, okay, they started lying on black people and said they were raping their wives or their daughters just to sentence them. They found a way to put them in chains. All right. So it might be that, but I'm going to come back and say, if we must speak the truth, all of us have to come to the table and tell our story the way it is and not look at it from my vantage point or from your vantage point, but from the truth that lies between somewhere there. All right. Because just like you live in Liberia, I live in Liberia. Like I was telling my story the other day, the first time I've seen a soldier in my lifetime was 1980. All right. And I also survived the war. I also know that my brother was taken out of Liberia when he was blacklisted. Who went to give back to Liberia, Dr. Emmanuel Dolo. My mom had to ask her boss to get him out of the country because he was going to be killed. Liberia was a hostile environment. So, again, I would say the mirror has two faces, all right? There are people who see Yahya Nimne as a hero. There are people who think he's a killer, just as there are people who saw Prince Johnson as a hero. He was not mine. I'm sorry, okay? But he was other people. Because I came face to face with Prince Johnson Bravo. I told my story over and over. I still remember that. A 20-year-old girl. I remember on the way when one of the soldiers stopped and told my mom I was going to be his wife. I didn't even know him from Adam. So this mirror have two faces. Paul is here. I'm going to bring him on. But I just wanted to add that Liberia is not a democracy. Liberia is not a Hi, Paul. Hold on for a second. Liberia is not a democracy. Okay, because we don't have any of the pillar that is identified as democracy. There is no justice for all. There is no equity. Okay, you got the uppity ups and their children. Okay, once you've been in government, majority of the people in Liberia that you call who amongst who, if you check the background, they work for government or the family work for government. Okay, the buildings that in Liberia that are being used, most of the buildings in Liberia belong to former government officials who took the country money, built buildings in their names, and we are leasing it from their children. And, other government that come to be, they've never saw the need to build for Liberia so the funds can go out. So the money is within that circle. So we have an oligarch. All right. And when you live in a country where the president literally have absolute power, they decide whether when he appoints all of the head of agencies, they intend appoint all the other or hire all the other, however they process it. The legislature does not work for the country. Okay, then they are not about nationhood. They're about their tribes, they're about their group, they're about their little family and their girlfriends. That's what they're about. But I'm gonna start here. In the 3 minutes and let welcome Paul because he's just coming on. Paul, you're coming on a little late, so please come on. And I wanted to agree with Peter. I remember when Bronsky was running, they say, well, Bassa Party, although he was smart, although he was intelligent, although he was educated, although he had a lot to give to Liberia, they say it was Bassa Party. When Musa went and joined the party and literally carried the party on his shoulder, the people came by and said that Bassa Party, Musa must go find his own party. Okay? When Comiskin, they say that American people own a party. Okay? Everything. But that's what they say. Okay? We everything they do it. They do fundraiser, they call us, they're in our inboxes. But then when you show up, they say, you think you're better. I can go and sleep on the floor, come from my house and sleep on the floor because I don't remember the last time I slept on the floor. And for me, the way I see, I have nothing to prove. The goal is, we have to say, the goal is, if I go and find out good news, my job is to show you that there's light. It's not to come to where you are. That's why when I go, when people say, oh, I will go, I will tell my lapa, I'll go beat rice. No, I'm not beating rice. I'm going to get a machine and bring it for you because there's an easy way. No, I'm not cutting grass. I'm going to get a grass cutter, one of those brushes, and put gas in it and show you how to use it. I'm not going to brush. Because the thing is, I have seen, like Socrates said, how about get you out of the cave? No, Plato, how about get you out of the cave and show you what you're seeing is not a reality. This is how the world works. That's my goal. Paul, welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, and how you doing, Peter? And also Miss Sis Yama, nice to see you guys. And Yasini most especially, and thank you for
Hi,
the
Paul.
opportunity. Yes, thank you for the opportunity over here. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties, so I have to log to YouTube. For some reason, it wasn't live on my Facebook. Yeah, so now I'm live on YouTube, I guess. Yeah,
Oh, you're logging from YouTube?
yeah, I think yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we are on YouTube too. Yeah, we are on YouTube. We're not on, I'm sorry, we're not on the air today because they said no electricity. We're supposed to be on the air tonight. We were last week, but that's the nature of the beast. Go ahead, sir. I apologize.
Like electricity is yeah. So as you aware that I just got back from Liberia. I was going, actually I was in Africa in general. I got back from Liberia on Monday, not this Monday, but last month. So I've been back about 1 week. It was supposed to be maybe less than 2 weeks trip. I end up staying almost a week more than I anticipated. And I first, because I have some things going on in Ghana, so I decided to stop in Ghana and see things going on over there. And then I came to Liberia, and I also have things going in Liberia. But it's just a serious construct between the difference between like the way things have done in Ghana and the way Ghana, every time I go there, I see something new happening. I see development. I see the systems getting in place. You can go to, just like when you get on the airport, they keep trying to make themselves better. But the way they're trying to make themselves better in Ghana, they're thinking about it like in a way that is more logical than Liberia. For example, something I saw in Liberia that was being done. The government is cleaning the streets, right? They're cleaning the street, they're paying these people to clean the streets. So a big project. I think it's like everything is World Bank project, Liberia, a World Bank or some kind of project, and paying all these young people money to be sweeping the street. But something that bothers me the most in Liberia is my own family member. I brought them some stuff, and so they had it. And right in the midst of it, on the street, right there where we're like sitting, like place like that, they drink stuff, plastic bag stuff, they throw it right on the ground. So I see the government sweeping the street. But then they sweep that whole Vartam area, going on New Bridge and all that, entering in town. So the group of people sweeping, as they're sweeping, I was sitting in my car washing, these people passing, their cold water bags in their hand, drinking the water, throwing the streets, throwing the street. It's like just like madness. I was sitting, I was like holding my head I don't have, because it's like madness, right? So it come back to the principle about, and I talk to people about why are you being like this to your own country? And people are more patriotic towards their tribe than being nationalistic towards their country. And I was telling this, we were sitting, this lady saw us sitting there, the place was clean, and she had her stuff on her hair, drank her water, and just threw it and like jumped from the group, and I'm like, can you pick it up? Pick it up. And everybody started looking at me. So no matter, man, acting like American man, and he's over here acting like American man. Yeah, go yeah. And I was actually mad, but it was something simple. So I know I'm starting from the basic things, right? But these people cannot say, no, they love their country and they are patriotic towards their country, and they be doing these small things that show don't show love for your country. And so I think this is the message I've been saying for years. The way Liberian people will move forward is not by you can have all the systems in America, but it's the renewal of the mind, the way to see country. And so we need to invest in education, but the kind of education we need to invest in, we need to get away from the conventional education, because everybody got book. And you were saying something about Mr. Cummings and campaign and something like that. I think one of the things I had in the past with Mr. Cummings is they would just see these people. There were people that came from nowhere that have nothing, but because they have these things attached to their name, they became significant out of nowhere. They have some things like, maybe degrees or maybe somewhere they worked before attached to the name. And so the people who were already there, passionate about doing something, in some ways, those people were overlooked at it because Liberians care more about what degree you have, what position you have held in the past. They care about these things that for so long we have had and haven't really changed Liberia. Because if those things could have changed Liberia, Eddie Johnson was going to be the president that would change Liberia. But those things didn't change Liberia. You need to have people who are passionate about Liberia. And maybe the English might be broken. Maybe they can speak your so-called series good. But there are people who will put their life on the line for Liberia in the background, that will put their self on the line. These are people like Liberia needs. We don't need, because it don't take much for Liberia to develop. But the first thing we need to do is to invest in education. And it comes from the leader on top. The kind of education you need to invest in is the one that will renew the people's mind. Because no matter how you sweep the place, if somebody don't have that love to say, oh, I can put the water I'm drinking, put it in my pocket, or get a small plastic bag, hold it in my hand when I get home and throw it away, you don't have that discipline, the country is going nowhere. Because everyone that we elect, excuse me, the allergies, everyone that we elect, it comes from among the people. So these leaders that comes from among the people, they are part of the problem in Liberia. They are instrument of the society. So you cannot come today expect this person who were throwing his water plastic on the ground to get him power. I know I'm using this analogy, but throwing the water pot and to get him power and talk about cleaning Liberia.
Thank you, Paul. We're at 9:06, so we're gonna go to Peter. Peter, let's talk a little bit about and you can scoot it any way you want to. At first, I think you started a conversation with the pillar of democracy, why democracy have not worked in Liberia or why it can work in Liberia. Where do we start from? Let's elaborate on that a little more, and maybe you can add up to the opening of the mind, which would be education, because people talk about education, people are thinking about degree, obviously, off the back. So let's come to that place and try to bring it home. I'm gonna leave you at that.
Yeah. So, welcome to the show, Paul. I wanted to segue by connecting what I'm going to say with what Paul just said. Two things. I try to be very careful with victim blaming. And let me explain what that means. So Paul just gave a scenario of how these people are cleaning the streets, and there's this woman who just threw plastic that she drank on the floor, on the ground, and he shouted at her, like, pick it up. Yeah, that's how you felt inside. Like, what are you doing? The social conditioning matters. This is the one thing I would say when you talk to the white nationalist. Do you guys know their argument for why they believe that white men should overwhelmingly lead every organization? They believe they built all the systems.
Mm-hmm.
We built
and they
all
did
the
not.
systems. Absolutely not. We built all the system.
Yeah,
It
we
was our
did.
people. It was our people who invented this. It was our people who came up with democracy.
Yeah.
We went to war. We died in the Civil War. We got shot with bullets for this country be this country. Not you. What makes you think a woman should come and do this? Still women, you guys, if it was up to you guys, we'll be in the dumps right now. They believe that. They really, really believe that. So when you have, here's why I say this. I say that, right? When you have a country that is not building nothing,
Nope.
and we don't put our best foot forward because
Nope.
of tribalism and social conditioning. Oh yeah. So here's a segue. So they say those things, right? They should be ahead of this. This should be 98% of the things should be led by them. The jobs should be held for their children. And the lesser of them should have the lesser jobs. And then whoever you get in where you fit in. I started by saying social conditioning matters. When you go to other people's country and you overthrow their government because of what you want, and you overthrow the government,
Peter, don't
and
start that because Paul will start going off. Oh, I beg you.
that's okay. I love a good philosophical venture. When you sent your CIA to go to Nicaragua, to go to Honduras, to go to Liberia, to go to Saudi Arabia, to go to Iran, and you you topple to go to Hawaii, to go to Philippines, to go to Cuba. When you topple people's government after government because it serves your purpose, you can't say a couple of things. When you enslave people for years and years and say you cannot be educated and you put them in conditions where they're learning behavior, well, you're gonna get what you get. So you can't you can't do both. You can't say, oh, we're ahead of the food chains, and at the same time, you're poisoning people and say, why are you so weak? Well, because you're poisoning me. That's why I'm weak. Stop poisoning me. Maybe I'll get back to full strength. I say all that to say Liberia has conditioned our people to throw the plastic on the ground.
Facts.
Liberia, if they were really serious about, if they were truly serious about cleaning the streets, I hate to offer any solutions to these people. But you know the first thing you do? You create a recycling plant. So you don't have to burn trash. You recycle those. You take your money and you spend it on a system of not sweeping the streets, but a system of cleaning, keeping the street clean. It starts with an industrial plant that handles trash and waste, not just taking the dump out and throwing everything in there and make a mountain of crap. So what I'm saying is the government is not, either they're uninformed or they're uncaring. They're not intentional about really cleaning the street. To me, what's the word I'm looking for? Fictitious is fake. They're being facetious. That's the word I was looking for. They're being facetious. They're taking the money from World Bank and say, look, you can see sweeping, right? Well, that doesn't really do anything. We have a rubber factory, built trash cans, put it every 20 feet in the streets. That's what they do in other countries, right? And take the government money and don't waste it on stupid yellow machines. That's not going to help the country. You don't buy a bunch of buses without having a whole bunch of garages that fixes them. Yeah, Cindy, there was a gentleman that worked for, I don't know if you ever heard of Bonanza Bus Company. Anyway, it's one of the interstate bus companies. There's Peter Pan, there's Bonanza Bus Company.
Yeah, Bonanza. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's a Liberian. He worked for them for 25 years. We were at a friend's birthday party last weekend. I told him I was going to get him in touch with you. And he was telling us how absolutely.
Cool. I can't wait.
He was telling us how absolutely dumb to get these buses and how it's going to take less than 2 years for them all to break down because of the level of maintenance. He said you have no idea how these things, like they don't have any idea. Like you need for each of those buses, you need about, so when they say they're leaving Monrovia to Ganta, you're going to need at least 3 places where they can get serviced. He said even there are 3 people on that bus, the buses have to be ran there is such a structure to keeping them going over the years. Liberia is nowhere near that. So he said, it's such a waste of money to do it. And they don't even know what they don't know. He goes, so he's going to be on the show hopefully next week.
Okay, good.
Good. Yeah,
that would be very nice. But let's prepare for it so we can have him. Yes.
So let me say this. What I'm saying is Liberia's facetious. They're not intentional about doing anything to help problem. You can eliminate poverty. It's easy. You get rid of the 2 biggest bill that people have. Housing is number 1, and food is number 2. You could subsidize those 2 in a real way. Okay, we're not. So when we are angry about someone throwing a Paul, I'm so glad you said this. And Yasendi, you said something. I want to close on this. Um, Paul talked about how they just threw stuff on the floor. When you see a person who's doing that, right? And Yasendi, you talked about how I just lost my train of thought on that. But when they're throwing trash on the ground, and we point that out, I want us to point out the fact that our government is not intentional about building schools. You talk
Yeah.
about the minds, right? We need to change the minds. How do you do that? Well, you inform the mind. Where does it start at? If you truly about education, know anything about education, it starts with foundational education. When was the last time you heard a leader talk about preschool and kindergarten? It's foundational education. Nothing grows on that surface without you doing that. I have a 6-year-old. This man, you quiz
Oh
him.
my God, Paul. He's already 6?
He's already 6. Quiz him. Be like,
Oh my
Logan,
God.
what's 9 times 8? What is 8 times 3? You know why? Because we're intentional about making sure he's exposed to these things. It's not because he's a genius, right? So he could read at 3 because we're intentional about doing it. So what a country does with its people matters. We are not intentional about anything. So I don't want to victim blame. I do not want to victim blame. I believe those people are victims. I believe they're just trying to, like, they're literally sucking their teeth when you tell them pick it up, Paul. She would suck her teeth. Like, she's like, I got so much to worry about right now. You think I worry about this nonsense? Yeah, and I agree with her. Let's have a government who says we're going to go into some austerity measures right now. We don't have money. We just lost $35 billion or whatever, $1 million. So we're going to cut our pay, our salaries. We're going to make sure that money goes to this. We're going to try to eliminate the major bills for these people by building real housing, not some bungalows that we did, right? And not being facetious about it and being fake about it. We need real leaders, and we can't blame the people for acting in a way that they've been conditioned to do. So that's my problem with these people. I agree they built a lot of systems, but you also destroy systems for other people. Go ask the Mayans. They had a better civilization than you guys in Europe, and you came and destroyed them with smallpox, and you used guns to kill the rest off. You can't. So if they were already ahead of you, what would they have been in the 22nd century?
Mm-hmm.
So then you can't say you're better. You can't talk about, oh, DEI this. What are you talking about? You got to where you are because of DEI. Most of you guys get to Ivy League schools because of legacy acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah.
Your grandfather went there to donate money. That's DEI. It's just for rich people. So you can't be fake about it. If the government is going to be real, if we're going to be real, I don't blame those people. I really believe we need to tackle. And again, yes, Andy, we need to do it from inside, because me as an outsider, as a crime man, I can't go tell, oh, just because you're crime. No, I need to say to my people, that's not how we should pick leaders. And then people in that camp need to say, we need to look for the best person outside, whether it's outside or inside, but it has to be based on merit. We have to do it from inside out. If we don't do it, then it's like, oh, just because you said this. Listen, Prophet Key cussing is not brand new, Yasendi. They knew he's been. When has he not talked like this? He insulted you years ago. I had to call him on that. I had to call him on the phone, be like, yo, what are you doing? And then he apologized. But I'm saying he's been doing this. This is not brand new. To me, this is a distraction. We have serious issues to talk about. What is the merit in which we're picking these leaders? And why we're not amplifying it? Anyway.
Thank you. So let's go to Sesiama. Then I'll come to me, then
Yeah.
Paul, and then we're gonna close.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I
Yes.
know it's been, I don't know even where to go from. Okay, so I wrote some stuff down. Well, let me disagree a little bit with Peter when it comes to we need our leaders to be passionate. I think I would disagree a little bit with that. I think Liberian problem is a mindset problem. Liberian problem is Liberian people that can solve Liberian people problem. I think the passion should come mainly from the people instead of the leader. The burden of proof, or the burden of passion should squarely rest on the shoulders of the people. Look here, we are not even at the level of meritocracy. It's like a woman struggling in the market to send her kids to school. Her dream, and you say that she's in Liberia, she's disciplining her kid, she's struggling, and you say that she should send her child to Ivy League University, to Harvard. Let me say something like that. It's not that it's so far fetched. It's just that it's not immediate. It's not even on her level. It's not in her aura of thinking at that point in time. But what can get her there is the discipline, and how she instilled self-worth, and how she instilled respect, and doing what needs to be done, the practical of life. And I will give you something. You said, what do we need? I want people some of the example of what we need to get to that mother that want to send her child to Harvard, but she's right now selling into our market. What the country needs is to be very, very practical. We should forget about meritocracy and very intelligent or book. Let's start with being practical first, the immediate. For example, I'll give a lot of examples. Waiting in queue for transportation. Let's start there. Waiting in queue at the market. Selling in the designated area. My mother used to say, put things away, don't put it down. Like you do your laundry, you fold it close right away, don't put it down. Everything has its spot in the house, put it away. Using your phone to I just came from Liberia, using your phone to even give direction. Somebody coming to our way into our life, somebody coming to me, you got to call somebody to come explain for the person to come. So what I did the next day when I went out, I took pictures of the junction. All the junction, I took pictures of the junction, I put into a collage. When somebody say, "You're my where you are," I text it to them. I'm not gonna be on the phone, gonna sing it, gonna do this, gonna do that. No. So and most in the driver said, "Oh, I never thought about it that way." So it's just the practicality of life, designating the right side of the road for une keke and bicycle, and having the police enforce that. You got two lanes. You got three different kinds of vehicle. Just say on the right side of the road would be for une keke and for pimpin. Stuff like that. Just being practical first. Following the rule of law, being good fathers. Don't tell your children, "Oh, when that man comes, tell him say I'm not here." Tackling lying in the homes. Being and then go back to being good stewards of our money. You don't have to give me your sad story for me to send you remittance. The price gouging, misusing public funds. So Liberia we have a practical mindset problem. Yes, most of those things can be taught at the elementary. I would agree with Peter on that. On the foundational level, the preschool, kindergarten, just the primary education. But sometimes the people are so conditioned, they don't even know how to think outside the box. Paul talked about the lady should pick up the plastic bag. Let's go to that. But we cleaning the streets. Are they buying trash cans to put every block, maybe every 40 feet? Or every 20 feet, do we have public trash cans? After you put those public trash cans, do we have schedule who will pick it up? The government has problem with who will pick it up. Go to the district representative, let them have a town hall meeting and decide who in that district will do X, Y, Z for that district, and let the government pay those people. Yeah, you can clean the streets. The other day on Somalian Drive, I started cleaning the streets, the sewer system, but there's no trash can. So who gonna walk 2, 3 blocks or go walk all the way home with a quarter bag in a plastic bag in their hand? Who gonna do that? So I think the people need to rise up. The people need to be more passionate because of what they want. When they're ready to sit down on television or sit down in the Palawa hut and to the attire shop and talk about how the other leader are good leader, they can be passionate. So if I am going to serve the people of Liberia, if I'm going to go serve the county of Lofa in the future, I'm not going to be jumping over anybody. I'm not going to be hiring likes of Africa to come cost. I'm not going to be buying t-shirt, giving people money. I'm not doing none of that. I'm going to give you a platform of what I'm going to do. You will look at my integrity. You will research my lifestyle, my background. If you do not want what I have to offer, sit in your own shit. And I don't give two damns about it. The people
Oops,
need to
oops.
get wild up what they want. I'm
Thank you.
sick and tired of babysitting Liberian people to putting their problems on so-called leaders to do the work for them. Get up, people. You get up and
Thank you,
hold those people accountable. Okay,
Thank
about
you.
nonsense.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for your input. I'm gonna build up from where you're coming from. Okay. Um, leadership start from the top, development start from the bottom. All right. Woodrow said that to FDR. Keep your hand off the state issue during the Great Depression. Okay. Keep your hands off. And he said, no, we have to help our people and create jobs. He helped change America forever. Okay. Just like the other day when you and I were in the COVID, maybe you nurses were to work. The government came in and make sure that would sustain or temporarily open. Some of us, they were dropping food over to our homes. Now, here is what I'm going to say to you. I think Peter talked about being intentional. You know, right now in Singapore, they clean the street almost 24 hours a day. All the trash are turned into renewable energy to power their country. There's no trash in the street. This for my family and I went to Virginia Beach. Individual cannot maintain that. It has to be about 10, 15 feet. That's a drum that you put trash in. So you really don't have to walk that far. You have people, their job is to pick up the trash off the beach because we're paying to go there to be there. Okay. Another thing is any nation that wants to develop and really change, the first goal is to give the very foundation, which is the education. All right. If next week my street downtown will be paved or resurfaced, there will be on my my city website, notice will be there. There will be a sign out there that will say in the coming days or in the coming weeks, there will be a detour that I don't have to come downtown, that I'm prepared. But if I want to go downtown, it is my choice to sit in that traffic because I want to sit in that traffic. Okay. If you say don't dump the trash in the water, where do I put the trash?
Thank you.
Okay. So the first thing is, it is the responsibility. These people come and talk plenty. In fact, they don't even talk. They just come, give our people better rice, give them, because our people have been abused so long, that's all they know. You see, people only know where they know. All right. They come and make these stories. Like today, I watched these older women dancing in front of a guy who were calling their body parts. We were naming and shaming their anatomy for being a woman. I see Liberian women living in America, no disrespect to them, coming under my post to put this man picture under my post, and he talk under my post. That's under my freaking post. Okay, go post it on your wall. If I come there, then I look for that. So it's like we are just normalized abuse in our community. All right. First, if you must develop, let's look at South Korea. After World War, the Second World War, after the occupation of Japan into South Korea, when what do you call it? He, whatever his name is, John Park took over South Korea. That GDP was 79 cents. Liberia, the time where Japan was literally a superpower, were on the scene out into Ghana. It was 1990. I went back to Ghana, it was 1995. Things have changed. 1990, when I went to Ghana, the whole Borokan was a village. You got to pass through bushes to go to people. They had a little shack for the refugee. When I went back in 2008, that place was developed. The airport had hotels, which before they didn't have it. 2010 when I went there, 2011 when I went there, you had Holiday Inn, you had restaurant, you have police patrol car in the streets. You had an overpass in there on Kumasi that you didn't have before. You had a drawbridge before you did it. Primary education in Ghana is free. Today I listened to a doctor who was speaking and said he don't believe that leaders in Ghana need to go away for medical attention. Are you disqualifying us that train in Ghana? If you're trained that working in Ghana. So if you believe we are trained, then provide a that we can get trained, that we can be competitive with the rest of the world. No leader in Ghana needs to leave to go anywhere. No leader needs to have their children leaving, especially if you're working for the government. If you have your private money, you have your private business, you want to take your children out, that's on you. Don't do that. This young man, 34 years old, who just took over Burkina Faso, I made 3 things, maybe 4. Road connectivity, brought people in to train their own people to build the road, only for them to supervise. All right. Not only the rail, the highway, he building housing. I'm talking about skyscraper. Like Lee Kuan Yew said, Lee Kuan Yew, you said when you people are used to boho, using hole to drop the poop, you got to educate them to tell them, I'm taking you to new house. These are the way you maintain it, because you have to do a reconditioning. For the people in Liberia have no intention of changing our people's lives. They need them to be in that perpetual merry-go-round. They're thinking they're on a horse, but they're not on a horse. They're on a play horse because they're only going circle, they're not going anywhere. When you have a certain VP literally entering the coffers and giving money out in broad daylight to induce people, the same way they did, they were buying vote. I was in Nimba. I was in Bassa. I was in Bonn. I was in Mangibi. I was in Monserrato. They were taking, this time they were not taking the people voting card from them. They were taking the numbers and going because they were in charge, those who have, and recreating it for other people. So you go there, they say you already now vote. You have not voted. That's why the number was the way the numbers were. So I'm going to stop and go to Paul. So I came because there are 4 of us today. So Paul, democracy, it does not exist because our people are not informed. Number 1, our people are hungry.
Unfortunate, we choose the system of democracy. I always say the end. He was talking about, my brother Yep was talking about the foreign policies the U.S. and most especially Western countries go overseas. And
oh boy,
no. It's starting. Go overseas and do all these things, which I 100% agree with every analogy or every point that he gave. That's the thing. I 100% agree with it, because we go places and we will first talk about these people. Oh, these people are like, I was in Afghanistan, and I'm like, then these guys were around, this white guy was like, oh, why these people want to kill all that? And I said to him, I said, these people that that you see over here, just imagine if they came in your country, the big cars we ride, our Humvees, our stuff we riding around these streets, right? And if it was in your city, it was in Houston, it was in New York, you will fight back. You will blow up yourself back, because of what happened. This have nothing to do with you. So we call them backwards for blowing themselves up. But I was just started to think about it. So how this link to Liberia? Let's talk about democracy. We need a leader. For me, sometimes I think democracy is an illusion because we all boast about Burkina Faso right now, the leader he have. But he's not a democracy, he's not a leader that was elected to the democracy process, the democratic process. He wasn't. You need to have a compassionate person, a person with passion, and we don't have that in Liberia right now. That's the issue I'm talking about. So when I was talking about the trash in the street, I agree. These people have been conditions with that, but at the end of the day, Liberian people, the leader, every leader we have in Liberia is elected by the people, right? So-called elected by the people. The people go out there and sing the song. So in the power first starts with the people. So, for example, if I want to run right now, go in my district, I have all these great ideas I want to run. My conditioning is different from their conditioning. And the way I would want to run a campaign over there in Liberia would be different from what the way the someone who conditions over there, who grew up there, who act the way they want to run it. They want to go bribe people. They want to go print T-shirt, bring back up rights. And why I want to sit and be talking about issues that are going to change these people's life, these people are not going to look at me. So there's a responsibility that the people have, and there's a responsibility that the government have, right? And these government officials are elected from these people. Back to what I said about the lady, it wasn't the trash she was throwing wasn't on the public street. It was in the neighborhood where it was swept that morning, where everyone's sitting, just a group of people sitting there, and while you passing, but then you drop your trash right next to them. So that was, but I didn't just get up and ran on her. I told her the importance of taking it home. That because this is her neighborhood. I said, this is your neighborhood, this is where you work. You want to see it clean. So I did some education over there with her. But I understand that they've been conditioned for that. But it comes back to my point in Liberia. The leadership that we have had for the last few years or for a very long time really are not interested in changing these people's life. I was at Royal Hotel. I go to all the fancy places, right? When I go there, I see the same people over and over and over again. The same people. Nobody different. If you go to a place called Camp Maserado, behind the mansion, same people. Royal Hotel, rooftop, same people. Calabash, same people. Mama Point, same people. Everybody, the same people.
And 99.9% of the time, they're government official or the
Government
company US.
officials, people reference and hold government officials in a very high position. And everybody was like, you know who I am? I am director of this, I'm director of that. And that's how Liberian people have been conditioned to calling people honorable. I go in my community, people call me honorable. I say, why are you calling me honorable? Why are you calling me honorable or chief? So back to the point in Liberia, right? We need to get a leader. The leader that we need is a leader that needs to be hard-headed, a leader that are going to really be intentional about the things that he wants to do, not to be fastidious, just to come and just, make it look pretty. And the sweeping the street was the part I have, because sweeping the street and putting all this money is all the show. It's all the show. One is educating the people about the importance and why you're sweeping the street, why it's important to keep your neighborhood clean. Then from there you create the areas where they can throw the trash in. But then you have to also account for security too, because you have to come with the justice. Justice need to be part of Liberia. Anything Liberian try to do, the justice system need to be part of it. Because you know what people do if you put the trash on the street? You know what they used to do? I did it in my neighborhood. People started to take this was just for if you pass and you have a bag to put in there in front of my fence, or there I put trash something or there. People started to go home and take their big bundles of trash for the whole week and start to dump it in front of my fence. I swear, I have pictures right I can find. I wish I had time to share that my whole backyard became a dumper just because I put trash can in front of my house on the street.
They need to, Paul, they need to use that same energy. The point in each neighborhood, in each district, they need to use that same energy, collect all the trash in the district, and go dump it in front of the lawmaker house. What to fire for fire. That's the passion that they come out of the people.
Okay,
Nonsense.
Say, Yama, I
Like,
I feel
then
your
we'll come
passion
to, yeah, we'll
because
come to
I
PDF
feel
to
your
then come to
passion.
you, then
I
we'll close.
know that people are talking about these bigger existential things. For me, I think Liberian problem is we have to address the little things like what you were talking about, transportation,
Thank you.
Liberia, driving on the right side of the road, driving and following those basic rules, those basic things. That's where it create characters. I was in the military. The first thing they tell you, the reason why they make you make up your bed and do hospital corner is because of discipline. And so today, as I've been on the retired for almost 7, 8 years, I still do that at home. So we have to address these small, minute things in Liberian societies, the things that build character, and then we can address the bigger things. But until we can address these small things, that at home, like you were talking about, don't lie to your parents. How everybody wants to try to get ahead. Every time you send someone to buy something, go buy me like 5 or 1,000 ties, and they know the price is not the price. They will tell you, oh, the man said to $25 for one tire, but you know you buying it for $18. But you feel like that money, the rest of it for you, because the Lebanese man know you were big. So they won't give you the actual price. The price is $18. So people, and I asked you, I said, well, how much you give? Oh, the man said $24. Then I go there, the man said, oh, $18. That's, these small things. And this is the person I pay the school fees, pay the kids' school fee, send them money every month. But they don't have the decency to say this. So for me, I want to address the small and minute things in society where we build Liberian people character, and then they will be able to elect a leader that shares those characteristics. But now I know it's hard to get to that point. We have to deal with the government we have right now for them to change the people's life. And maybe in order, hopefully that this government can change them. Maybe we like another government to change them. But at the end of the day, I feel like Liberia's biggest issue is education, the renewing of the mind, changing the mind and the way they see their country. Until they can change the way they see their country, we are not going anywhere. So that's my issue. That's the biggest issue I have. The renewing of
Thank
the
you.
mind,
Thank you, Paul. Support is ending with the
education.
renewal of the mind and seeing your country, looking at the bigger issue that is our country. So that was Sis Nyama, right? Or Paul? No, it's Paul. No, it's Peter. Peter, go ahead. You're closing.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Thanks for what you were saying, Paul. I want to again connect what you said with what I'm going to say. Structure, discipline, intentionality matters. Like you, I didn't go to the military, but I played Division 1 college football, and I remember a day. I think as a sophomore, it was freshman year, going to the weight room one time with a different color socks on. I still remember it was black. First of all, we had to be there for 6. No, lifting starts at 6. You have to be there for no later than 5:45. I didn't understand that before, right? I had to learn the hard way after they made me run a few 40:40s. Okay. I remember coming to the weight room one time with black short socks on and getting drilled about that. Everything. The reason why they have hut in football is because everything is militaristic. You're supposed to be very people who compete against other people. That's what the military is, guys. But you're competing for lives. If you mess up, somebody dies. There's not a game. So you have to be extremely structured, and everyone has to fall in line. So intentionality really, really matter in any successful organization that competes. The military does it on a higher level because they're literally playing a game that you might not go home to your family today or ever again. So people who come from that background will understand what that means. Since Yaman says, well, the people, the people, the people. Because I studied government, because I was one thing I was interested in. There is not one single country that escaped poverty without a passionate, intentional, activist leader. Not one. Burkina Faso he's the latest example. You know how he knows he's intentional and he's passionate as an activist? He overthrew the government. That's been an activist. all these people from South Korea, these are all people who are activists. They lead revolution. It don't come from the people. They need someone to lead with the same passion. So there isn't one single nation that I can name that didn't have an intentional, passionate leader that was able to escape poverty. Maybe Sis Yama knows something and we can talk about that or just educate me on that. Paul, you talk about reaching the people. You goes, I can have all the best intentions if I go back. They might not listen to me. Yeah, in education, we said if you can't reach them, you can't teach them. So if we have leaders who don't understand, so-called wannabe leaders who don't understand how to make that connections with people, you're not cut out for this. Maybe you can do something else, but not leadership in a country like that. Okay, and that's my disenchantment with Cummings at this time. But I'll get into that another day. Not right now. Okay. You need passionate people around you also. You can't have a person who says, it's like a person who's dating and like, oh, you don't know good things till it's gone. Well, anyone who says that should never have had that good thing in the first place. You didn't deserve it. You should know what's good when it's there. Okay. Again, I'll get back to Cummings another day. I think that they take advantage of people who care about them, who are passionate about them, who's a full soldier for them. You're not winning any battle like that against any other team that's passionate or have passionate leaders. You're not. You're going to get destroyed every single time. Yes, Andy, I wanted to talk about the 5 pillars that I always talk about democracy. And I wrote them down just to remember. A healthy economy, rule of law, must have a rule of law, must have informed citizens, so people are making decisions based on information and reason, not based on desperation. Social service, so that people are not desperate, so that if they're desperate, someone can help them, feed them, clothe them, okay, and house them, okay. And the last thing is citizen participation. Let me say that one more time. Healthy economy. We don't have that in Liberia. Our economy is run by foreigners. Rule of law. We are trying to unseat a speaker illegally. It's plain as day, but because this man wants what he wants, and he wants to find an extra legal way, so he suspends people and try to reach quorum that way. If the leader themselves don't hold themselves to the standard of rule of law, you're not going to expect someone to throw any trash in the trash can. By the way, I think you helped my point when you said I set out trash cans outside my house and people started to bring their trash to my house. Well, that tells you that maybe if the government was to do that, the people will use it. So to me, it goes back on the government. They didn't have any other. If they see that, that's the one thing they see they're using it. Maybe it will be easy to condition them now to put the trash in the trash can if you have one every 20 feet. Just me saying that, okay? Education. We don't have, I said the rules law. Education, informed citizens. Jeremiah Kuhn does not know the difference between what an electoral college is and what a swing vote group is. He does not. Jeremiah Kuhn does not understand that the way you lift the nation, the quickest, best way to lift the nation is to lift women out of poverty and out of desperation. This is a policy maker in our country. He was a policy maker as a senator. This is a king's maker now. He believes if I put my hand on you, you become the leader of our country. Do you understand how powerful that man is? The man is an idiot. He's uninformed. And he's number 2. Vying to be number 1 next time because his county picks. Remember now, he's the electoral college. They get to pick who leads our country. You got that man talking about, when they bring out the country devil. Well, all of us don't do the country devil thing. Unless the country devil have a gun, I would sit there and watch him and hopefully give him some dollars. Okay. That's just me. All right. We need informed people making informed, intentional decisions for our country to move forward. Social services. You need some place that people can go so they can get food if they're hungry, not get fed by the Lebanese man, the JT. Not that's our people are desperate and they're turning to foreigners. That's a national security threat. That's a national security threat. The guy who's mining the gold that says how much gold comes out of our country. Do you believe that man is actually reporting exactly how much gold is being taken out? If that man is desperate for money, if they give him 20 grand American dollars, you think he's going to say they took out $1 billion worth of gold? Okay, so we need that. We need social services. Our people don't need to be desperate. The last thing is citizens' participation. That is the only thing we have in Liberia. Way too many people are participating without knowing enough. We have way too much arrogance, way too much opinion, and not enough information. Yeah, Sandy, you're muted.
Yeah, Peter, are they participating or they being induced because they don't know what they're voting for most of the time, just for temporary. But
Well,
that's for another
yeah,
day.
but they're still participating, right? Regardless of the motivation, and you're
Mhm.
100% right. Why are they voting? Uh, Regardless of motivation, they're
Yeah.
taking part in the voting, but they're being manipulated. You're absolutely right. Why are they being manipulated? Because they're not nationalistic. So we need an activist nationalistic leader, an activist nationalistic intentional leader.
Yeah,
This
Rebel.
makes to our people. But thank you guys,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we need to. I need to close on this. We need to live up to the promise of what we made to our vulnerable, our children, our women, all those that look at government and think they're way up there. We need to take care of them. That's what needs to happen, and not victim blame. Those people are the victim, regardless if we know it or not. There is no nation, no other country that was able to rise up without the government being intentional. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Okay. Sister
Um,
Ma, can you
let me
close?
close. Yes, I
Okay.
am going to close.
Do a,
Okay.
do about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I don't think I will need 3 minutes, but we'll see. In
Mhm.
closing, citizen participation, I would just go on that. You say the one pillar is one of the pillars of democracy, Peter. I think that should happen first. And let me tell you, Liberians have to participate, okay? Look, Liberians, the power to change your lives lies in the goodwill of the leaders. So before you move forward, those leaders, they need to want to do it before your life change. So the reason why I say it lies in the people, thank God, Peter, you said citizenship participation. You better participate by holding their feet to the fire. Woto woto, fire for fire. You clean the street, the lawmaker in the district eat the money. That they say the mayor house in that district, you collect all the trash. You put it to the city mayor house. And see what they in Kenya? Water, they will shape up. Look, Liberians, normally, we are very gullible people. Once we are dealt with, we fall in line. That's just Liberian people. That's just our nature. Liberian people left for people to deal with them. So when you deal with them, they respect you. You don't deal with them, they say, oh, the man like that man, the man will rile you. Oh, that man like that man. That man too easy going. That man he need get girlfriend. Come in, he need get girlfriend. Like that man. So you gotta can't deal with them. So you start dealing with your lawmaker for waiting for the lawmaker. So because we have had all these leaders all these years, and nobody seems to be putting the ball in the goal for the country. So for me,
Well, we
let's
keep
flip
picking
it.
the same type of leaders, though.
Come again.
We keep picking the same type of people with different faces.
Exactly. So we have to change. But the way we will change if the leader knows that they're gonna dump the trash. So let's say let's go back to the same trash. The analogy was stick on it. The poor was the mayor of that neighborhood. and they pour all the trash to a horse. And Paul needs to go to the office to make decision. Trust me, he would rather build fast, 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 or go hold the representative or whoever, the finance minister. He would talk for them in cabinet meeting for him to give his district his money. And if somebody, if that district money to pick up the trash, trust me, he will blow the alarm on them. Because the citizen came and dumped the trash to a dome of. That's what we need to start. That's how we participate and make, and then what that does is show the other future leaders, these people in the district don't play. They don't play. Let's change our mindset. No one, our parents told us, no one is better than you, Liberians, and vice versa. You're better than nobody. When you guys rise up, when we rise up for our own necessity. For example, the test is coming next Wednesday, Liberians. Next Wednesday, the Supreme Court gonna give its bill of information ruling.
So
If they say the majority
while
block,
they waiting till after the election though.
the one saying, so we're waiting next week. The Supreme Court gave the ruling, and then it's against the majority back. They have to go back under the gavel, and they've already been in order rumors that they're not going to follow it. And if the people don't rise up and hold them accountable, if they don't do what to fire for fire in our capital building and say y'all will go and hold their feet to the fire and let it slide, woe unto us. Woe unto us. Whoa, hold on. Nobody is coming to save us. No leaders coming to save us. The people need to find our last ounce and hold the lawmakers and representatives and the minister and the leaders feet to the fire. Y'all collect the trash, y'all go put it on in front of the president, rehab road. Why he taking 30 minutes just to go with 17 cars in the convoy? Y'all lay all the trash on the road and see how you will go to work. That's the only way. The people have to rise up.
Thank you. You see, you didn't need 3 minutes.
Yeah, can I say this real quick?
It's 6 minutes.
Peter was longer than me. Peter was like 8 minutes.
No, you talk for 6 minutes. I'm sitting here and watching.
Okay, so
quiet. Peter,
can I say this real quick?
1 minute.
Yep, it's gonna be less than a minute. So when you say rise up, this is where the people back home have a problem. So the students try to rise up. What happens?
They beat the student, put them in jail.
Yes, kids. What happens when you put trash when they put them in a pig's pen with human feces in there? Who's gonna get them out? Rise up how? Like this is what they talk about. Us who are living here, we're too comfortable. We just say things. They can't rise up. They can't say the things.
Peter, we have seen so many other countries around the world. The people don't stop. The people don't stop. We gotta keep going. There
are dynamics that we can use to do that. I disagree with that. I think they should stand up, but I think when they're in crisis, who's going to come and rescue them? That's all I'm saying.
The world is watching. The world is watching. What are going to kill everybody? They're not going to kill everybody.
Can we finish up now, because I got 2 minutes, then we can go.
So do I get 2 minutes?
You want to say something for 1 minute?
What? I thought I get my closing statement.
Okay, go ahead. Take 2 minutes. We're going to close exactly at So it's
Okay, so everything that everyone said, I think, was very significant to today, and I agree that there are two ways we need to approach this. As I said, one, the government have its responsibilities, and we need to the government have its responsibilities to provide the basic necessities for the people, so that the people can become creative, because that's what boosts creativity is when you take care of the basic things, like road to go to the marketplace where people can get the market and the goods out of wherever it is to the city where they can make money. Because if the roads is not there, they won't be able to be productive. So if the government can do the roads, the people cannot take care of the roads for themselves. Bringing electricity, just electricity. I mean, the Brussels area, they have electricity. They're not in District 17, like, right? It have not the whole District 17, but it have fundamentally changed the people's life. Just electricity is something as basic that we don't even think about. Electricity, Just think about when they bring running water over there. These basic things you have to, that's what the government responsibility for. And these things spark creativity. Something the vice president said, I was shameful of him. He said, oh, like the other day when he came to DC, he was meeting Liberian, and said, Liberian people say they want to come to invest in Liberia. They will come with 50,000 and they call themselves investor. I said to him that, do you know I've started successful businesses in America with less than that money, and now it worth more than that? Because it's a small business that raised up the
Jealousy.
country. Yeah, that's a small business that he was talking like that. And I was like, is this the vice president of Liberia? The last issue again, I live literally right next to what his name, District 70, DJ Blue. So he don't live in the district, he live in somewhere there in Morovia, but he comes every Saturday. As soon as he come, all the guys and people that know themselves will come and hang at his feet and go there and give them change $20 into Liberty and give it to them. I see all of them in the communities and over, they're all fighting for it. And I was like, how can these people make informed decision when it comes to voting when every Saturday you're taking this guy $20 from him? And so the people, back to my statement, the people have to change and renew their mind. But as you said, brother, we need a leader that will be passionate, that can connect with these people, that we can be able to find that bridge. Because there's something that is missing, and we need to find what is missing in order to be able to reach Liberian people, that it will be able to be receptive towards the leader that Liberia needs. Until you can be able to break that bridge and reach these people to be receptive to the leader Liberia leads and elect those leaders, Liberia won't go anywhere. So that's why I just wanted to bring that Liberians have a responsibilities and the country have a responsibility.
Thank you, everyone. We're gonna stop here. I'm gonna leave it as is. I want to say thank you to each of you, Peter, Paul, Sis Yama. It was a spirited conversation tonight. There's a lot to be taught. There's a lot to be learned. There's a long journey ahead of us. Some of us, I particularly losing hope for the Liberia that I've been fighting for since I was 13 years old, especially in the last maybe 11, 12 years. Because I don't see it. I see our people are in a deep, deep abyss that they can't find a way out. It's literally like I don't know if any of you here read the analogy of the cave Plato. This is what it is. Our people reality is their reality. Okay. Let me say that Brother White, I think you're very disrespectful. Okay. I don't appreciate you coming on my post with your co-guy who thinks as a mother of girls, don't think my girls deserve to bleed anything. So take your junk over to your Facebook and take it there. Don't get on my post. I feel disrespected with that. If this is the way you treat your mothers, your sisters, your daughters, that's how you think about your daughters. If you have daughters, that's on you. Take it there. It's for me. It's not politics. It's very personal. When you use term and words just to get to power and divide people, that I'm a scar. I'm a victim of that. I don't take that like that. I really don't. He can use his platform and tell us for the last 14 years what he done for the county. Okay. He can tell me what he's done for the candidate, what have been his mark, how he had elevated or lifted the lifted this community, and how he has changed the bodies in Liberians' lives. He has not done so. The children are still begging for chair to sit down. They're still begging for the teachers to get paid. Most of them are on, they're volunteering. How do you, the most precious jewel in your nation, how do you give them to volunteers? How do you educate them with people who most of them don't have any actual training? But that's enough. I'm going to stop here and say good night to all of you. Again, it was a spirited conversation. Let's continue next week. Let's get together. Let's continue to speak. Hopefully we'll be live on the air. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night. I didn't get to play another video though. Yeah, I didn't get to play any of the video. Good night, Paul. Let me end with this.
Thank you, Yasin. Good night.
Good night, Paul. Yeah, we go here. Where am I? Yeah, I am. Give me 1 second.
Ever hear woman, you say, "Okay, you that woman can also." That woman that coming there will lure us inside there. She will never spy in my country. That terrorist, no. That terrorist people all I watch you. They say the man who die, that the hero of the country. They say woman will replace it. You not see it before?
But why you doing that?
You not see it before? You will never allow it to happen. The player will say that thing more than in the man sector. Because they get more society than us. I'm going to tell the head of them there to say, that way I can do here, you tell me. For women to challenge our culture, they will say now, say yes. The democracy we're talking about. In the boat, there was a general when president came, you will not stay on the road there. You will stay there until they say, Kadebo,